Hi everyone and welcome to Tech-Talk. My name is Mudassir, and in this video, we're going to talk about and understand what project management is all about. So let's quickly get started. So what is project management? Well, project management, as you can see, is planning, right? So we have to plan. Now the question is that can you plan all on your own? No, obviously, right? So it has to be planned along with the team. And that's the important thing. Once you're done with the plan and stuff, again, you need somebody who can implement it, right? You can't do it alone, right? You need a team who can implement that plan, right? And so as a project manager, you have to now delegate the work appropriately, right? And before we do that, before we think of delegating the work, we need to do one very important thing, and that is defining the roles and the responsibilities. That means defining who can do which activity within your team. So you as a project manager first have to identify the appropriate skill set of the resources that you possess. And then based on that, you delegate the right work to the right person at the right time. Now, these resources that you have, now you've delegated all the tasks that they need to perform, right? And once this delegation is done, that will not stop there. So you've delegated them all the things that they need to do. This doesn't stop there, right? Now they'll start giving you output, right? Now the people to whom the work has been delegated, are they doing it properly or not, right? So to have a check on it, we're having the aspect of monitoring and control within project management. So what is the meaning of monitoring and control? Basically, monitoring is simply assuring that everything is happening as per the expectation, as per our plan. All right. So this output data that you get after the work has been delegated, you have to ensure that this is the desired output that we were looking for, right? And this is where you basically compare your output with the actual plan. All right, with the baselined documents, with the baselined plan, you basically compare your output that you receive from your resources. And in case everything matches your plan, then you're all good. We can proceed with the plan second and third and so on, right? So in case everything is okay, then we don't need to go to the other part of project management, that is the control part. We can simply move on to the plan second, third, and so on, right? In case everything is not okay, in case everything is not as per our expectation, as per our actual plan, and it doesn't actually meet our requirements, then we need to come to the control part of project management, right? So we need to go for a corrective and preventive action in a controlled way. So then, this cycle will actually repeat. We may have to do the replanning, adjust things, customize things, right? So basically, we do all this to get the desired output, or we can say to meet the project requirements. We customize our plans and we customize the way we have worked before to ensure that we get the desired output and we meet the project requirements. All right. So all this is what project management basically is, right? And this all is done to achieve the project objectives. Now, generally speaking, we have 6 project objectives. Like you can see on your screen, we have scope, quality, time, cost, benefits, and risk. So these are the project objectives that you need to ensure are met in a project. All right. And combining all these things together is what we call project management. So we are going to have a look at all these project objectives one by one now. So first, let's try to understand what is meant by a project objective. So project objective or a project element, we can say, basically, we need to ensure it's something that's met in a project. So we need to ensure that scope is met. We need to ensure quality in the project is met. Time and cost, benefits, risk, all these things are basically met in the project. So an objective is something that you need to ensure is met in a project. So generally speaking, if we talk about just the word objective, objective is something that you need to ensure is met. And in case you don't meet any one of these objectives, your project will not be categorized as a successful project. So for your project to be called as a successful project, all these 6 project objectives must be met, right? So let's talk about the first project objective, that is scope. So scope is simply what is the scope or the requirement of the project. That means what is the customer's requirement? What does he need? All right, this is all what scope is. The scope of work is defined by the customer, and we work to ensure that that scope that has been defined is met. So there is a boundary that is created, and you have to ensure that you're working within that scope boundary that has been created. So if scope is the requirement, in the same way, quality is actually, it contains this scope part as well. So we can say scope is kind of a subset of quality, right? Because within quality, you again talk about the requirements, but here we have to define the quality expectations, the quality requirements. What is the customer's expectation as far as the quality of this requirement is concerned now, right? In the scope, he'll define what he needs, but then in the quality, it'll be basically what he wants as far as the quality is concerned of that particular product. For example, the customer might say, I need an end product that is an ISO 9001 or whatever certified, right? So you have to now basically lay the groundwork based on that ISO 9001 certified standards. And if you don't meet those standards, then you're not basically meeting this quality objective, and your project will not be categorized as a successful project. And this quality objective is very, very important in the sense, if the quality is not being met because of whatever reasons, your end product is not going to be a fit for use product. That means the customer will not be able to use it, and he'll not be able to realize the benefits that were expected out of this end product because the quality has not been met, right? And one more important thing, this quality of any product is defined in what's called as a product description. All right. And this product description, or we can say project product description, is what contains all the information that we need about a product. All right. So basically, whatever requirements are there, all those details will be stored in a document, what's called as a project product description. Every end product is going to have multiple smaller parts within it, right? For example, we have a car, which will have multiple smaller parts within it, like it'll have seats, it'll have an engine, it'll have tires, it'll have stereo systems and stuff like that, right? And each of these parts within that end product are actually going to have their own quality requirements, which will be defined in their own product description. This is what quality objective is all about. Then comes the time objective. So time is simply the defined timeline that there is for each product, right? Because every project has to be delivered within a time frame. Every project has a start and an end time, isn't it? And we have to ensure that we deliver the end product within that time frame that has been defined. So what is a project and all that I've already discussed in my previous video. What is a project? If you haven't seen that yet, please go and check that out. Then comes the cost objective. So the cost objective is simply, again, the cost or the budget that has been defined for a project. And just like time, we have to ensure that this cost or the budget that has been set for the project, we complete our project within that set budget or set cost. Then the next project objective is benefits. Benefits is simply the positive outcome that we get by using the end product. All right. So basically, the positive outcome, what is an outcome? Again, this has already been discussed in the previous video. Please go and check that out. So these benefits can be in terms of revenue or in terms of generating value also. All right. So not necessarily that every benefit will be in terms of, in monetary terms. We can have benefits in terms of, it can generate value also for a customer, right? Then we have risk. Basically, risk, to be very frank enough, is not a project objective in itself. It's basically what risk management strategies we have in place for all the risks that have been identified within the project, right? Let's say because of XYZ reasons, I'm not able to connect to my internet. My ISP is down. And because of that, I'll not be able to record the lecture today, right? So I need to have kind of a backup plan wherein if my, let's say, primary ISP goes down, I can switch to a secondary ISP. And because of that, the recording of the video is not compromised. So it's done to ensure that all the other objectives like scope, quality, time, cost, and benefits are not compromised, are not affected. All right. I hope these things are clear, the objectives, but we'll try to understand them again with a very easy example. Let's go and switch to our whiteboard and try to understand the project objectives with a very simple example. Let's say there is a store somewhere. Let's say this store is named ABC. Okay. And this store, this organization ABC wants to go global. They want to expand their customer base, basically. Let's say we are an app developing firm and this organization ABC comes to us and they tell us, please develop a website for us, for our organization. So we say, okay, ABC website, they need an ABC website, right? And they also say that we need an app for this particular website, which would, let's say, run on iOS, right? And they say Android is not required at the moment. All right. Then they further add saying that we want this setup to be delivered to us within 8 days. And let's say they're willing to pay us, let's say, $3,000. Right? They further go on to say that this app and website needs to be fast, needs to be secure, and 24/7 available. That means zero downtime. Right? So the app and website should not go down anytime. Now we remember our project objectives, right? So we have 6 project objectives. We have scope, we have cost, we have time, we then have risk, quality, and benefits. So scope here simply is what is the need of the customer? What does he need? So he needs an ABC website and an app that would run on iOS. Android is not required. So this is the scope of the project. All right. Then the customer further goes on to say that, I want it within 8 days. So this is the time objective. And this is simply the cost objective, the budget part of it, isn't it? He had mentioned about the quality, right? He wanted it to be fast, to be secure, and he didn't want it to go down anytime, right? So this part of it defines the quality for the project, right? Now, as far as the risk is concerned, we can have multiple risks basically within this project. So it's a matter of identifying, basically. We can think of a few here. So maybe we might not be able to deliver it within the 8 days period. It's too less. And this budget also looks too low, right? So these are, 2 risks we can see. Maybe we might have some downtime. So we might not be able to cater to that. And as a risk mitigation plan, we can say if we had like primary server, just the primary server on which the app would run, to cater to this zero downtime, we'll have one more server up and running parallel to the primary server. So in case anything happens to this primary server and it goes down, we'll have a secondary server up and running, which will keep the website and the app available all the time. So this is a risk mitigation plan, just like my primary ISP and secondary ISP, right? So this is basically the risk part of it. Benefits, we can say simply increased sales, right? And multiple other benefits are there. So we can in short say like increased sales is one of the benefits that the customer is going to get after the project is delivered. All right. I hope it's much more clear with this simple example. So before we wind up today's video, I have got one more topic to discuss. It's called as triple constraint. So what are the triple constraints in project management? The triple constraints in project management are scope, cost, and time. These 3 objectives are referred to as the triple constraints. Why are they the 3 constraints? Because they depend on each other. Basically, they are represented in a triangular format. So we have scope here, we have time here, and we then have cost. All right. So let's say the scope increases. That means the requirement increases in the project. The customer changed his requirement or increased his scope. So this is the new scope now, the added scope. All right. To cater to this new scope, we need more time. More time means basically more men who will work, right? And when we need more time, we need more men, we need more money to pay them, right? So basically, we can say when scope increases, it automatically increases the time and the cost, right? So it kind of is directly proportional, we can say, to cost and time. This is why they're referred to as the triple constraints in project management. And this particular part that you're able to see here, the increase in scope is referred to as scope creep. So the scope has creeped up. And let's say that the customer has increased the scope, but is not willing to go beyond the initial timeline and the initial basically budget. So let's say the increase in scope is like initially they were saying we don't want it on Android, but now they say, okay, we want it on Android as well. In that case, if they're not willing to go beyond the 8 days time period and the $3,000 budget, and in case they still don't go beyond that, in that case, what happens is the quality gets depleted, right? The quality is majorly hit. One example of this quality being hit is basically, let's say previously we were saying we'll have 2 servers to cater to this zero downtime. We'll now only have 1 server, and that actually adds to the risk factor, right? So we have additional risks. We don't know at all whether we'll be able to do it within 8 days and this $3,000 budget. So we are not sure whether the deliverables will be delivered on time or not. There are high chances this zero downtime might occur. So basically now there is direct impact on the achievement of the benefits, right? So because of that, the project can fail. So all these objectives are interlinked with each other. And as a project manager, you have to ensure that you manage all these things in a controlled way. That's all for this lecture today. I hope you guys had fun. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.